It's been a while since I've fully caught up on Rick and Morty. I still haven't watched the last 2 seasons, even with the new voice actors and such. Like many of you, I probably jumped off ship after the season with the whole incest baby stuff. That was really weird. That whole season was weird. So yeah, I haven't watched the show since then, but I knew around that time that they were going to be creating an anime spinoff of the show with a few clips and shorts dating back to 2020. Everyone was kind of wondering why an anime spinoff, but the clips looked promising. A lot of people were hyping it up. I myself thought it looked pretty neat. The whole Japanese voice acting was phenomenal in those shorts. But now the true series has started to air on Adult Swim, and as I'm recording this, it only has 5 episodes out right now, and it's not looking good. I'm sorry, I was giving the show too much credit. It's actually bad. It's pure pollution. And it seems everyone unanimously agrees. It's receiving negative reception from hardcore fans, and it's no wonder why. This is a very different show from the original. Vastly different, and that's not a good thing. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use a mixture of footage and pictures since Warner Brothers is a nightmare to deal with, and I don't want a copyright strike lowering me down like my self-esteem. Let's talk about the visual style here that they gave the anime. I thought the original shorts looked fine, but I didn't think that they were actually going to stick to the style when it came out. And my goodness, it looks even worse than the 2020 shorts. This scribbly looking imagery just does not sit well with me. Like, I know some anime use different styles and they sometimes work, but coating it in a Rick and Morty skin on it, it just looks weird. And I know they're trying the basic anime aesthetics for the animation, but personally, I think it just looks way too choppy. The show just looks like it lags, like it's running at 0.5 speed. Look, it may look unique, but for anime-style levels, it's a little unpleasant and off-putting for me. But hey, you can have subpar animation, but still have some great storytelling, right? Right? Oh boy, the tone of this show is just so different from the original show. The anime tries to be way too serious and deep than it has any right to be. It's not funny at all. Even when they try to be humorous, it just comes out as flat and boring. Heck, every episode they put out so far has been boring. Like I said, how the animation feels choppy at points goes the same with the dialogue. They are really just repeating themselves to fill in time and nothing goes anywhere.
I think the situation is a little more serious than that.
You're right. It does seem like it's a bit more serious.
Now, I've been watching the English version since that's where the most criticism is coming from, so the Japanese version might be better, but man, these voice actors just do not care at all. They all seem tired and unfocused. It doesn't give me any reason to care about these characters in the first place. And we haven't even gotten to the characters themselves. They're all so emotionless and are a shell to their former counterparts. Except maybe Morty, at least his voice actor is somewhat trying to sound like he's having fun. Morty is probably the only one I don't have a problem with. When he's not making moaning noises the entire time, he's pretty much his Morty sounding self. Actually, never mind, I can't stand Morty. Summer takes up a lot of screen time, which is a first, but she definitely seems like she's stuck up and better than everyone else in my opinion, like she knows more than Rick. But that's probably true because Rick in this show is freaking stupid here. Rick himself just seems like an uninterested, depressed old man. The show also tries to bring in both versions of Beth and Jerry, you know, like Space Beth and Jerry Prime, but they give no effort into letting these versions shine through. Then we had these new characters brought into the show, like this virtual warrior girl named Elle, who becomes Morty's love interest in that episode, or this random guy who I already forgot his name. These characters don't match up with the typical humor of the OG show. But yeah, I haven't even gotten to the actual story yet, which I think is the biggest problem with the Rick and Morty anime. It is all over the place. I guarantee you, if you go into this blind watching the first episode, you are going to be confused and baffled at what's going on. And it will happen with episode 2 and episode 3 and so on. I mentioned that the dialogue feels sluggish at times, but every now and then the show will start to pick up steam with some cool action scenes, like, oh boy, things are starting to pick up now, and then boom, we're on to the next scene, onto something completely different. And this happens all the time. The script just feels disjointed. The show has some really big build-ups, hoping to lead into something pretty great, but then cuts to something completely different, leaving you so underwhelmed. The pacing and editing is just so bad. Why is the show the way it is? It throws you into a loop of different timelines that you don't know what's going on. It just keeps getting repetitive after the first 3 episodes, and it doesn't get fresh or innovative at all. Basic synopsis of the episode so far. Episode 1 deals with Morty playing with a virtual headset, like with Roy from the original, but more lame. He keeps hopping into multiple universes that makes no sense until Summer turns the simulation off. Episode 2 is Rick and another version called Mullet Rick who end up fighting each other, which end up switching their bodies to different timelines. This also has a fight between Space Beth and, for some reason, a resurrected Tammy with an awful action sequence. Episodes 3 and 4 are a snooze fest as Morty plays in a simulation again when Mullet Rick tells him to not spend too much time with his warrior girlfriend for reasons I honestly can't remember, but then I guess regular Rick is cool with her so she joins in on their adventure. Episode 5 is probably the most normal episode so far, because it doesn't revolve around the stupid timeline BS. So regular Jerry and Jerry Prime find the sword, who has powers of dark energy, and regular Jerry decides to keep it, and then the group find him and that's it. I know I didn't do the episodes justice, but man, when you actually watch these, you're not going to know what's going on. I don't think I'm going to continue watching all of this. Many people are already deciding this is unwatchable, with the bad voice acting, awful dialogue, and confusing storytelling. No one really asked for this. This is an absolute dumpster fire of a show, and hopefully Adult Swim knows this and can quit while they still can. This is just way too painful to watch.